Okay. I am here. And then we're going to be doing face cam because I'm needing to update some stuff and I don't feel like dealing with getting VTube Studio going and everything. So we're just going to be face cam. There, I exist. Let's see. And should be able to switch this. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I think we're good on everything else. We do have the first ad break coming up because of the like 20-minute mark or whatever that it gets at the start of stream. But basically what I'm planning to work on, and it might take me a minute to kind of get back into the groove of things because I last worked on this like a week and a half ago, I think. And so I got to remember what I was doing. Had a bunch of stuff going on and I had to kind of put this aside for a brief bit. And so now it's sort of like being a detective in a murder mystery where I'm also the murderer. Oh, it splashed at me. God, got on my face. Didn't get on the glasses though. Somehow. Just got me in the nose. Okay. This is about like the best I left myself in terms of notes. And also, I've since closed the project, so I don't even remember what all different files I had open at the time. I do know that at least part of what I was working on was I wanted to get a tighter integration between the weapon system and the inventory component and everything else. So that is likely where we kind of have to start. So but as far as where exactly I left off on doing that, that will unfortunately be somewhat of a mystery for a bit. I know I was trying to do a system where I treated the I swear to God, this song always interrupts my train of thought go away. I was trying to do a system where you could have the items technically represented in more than one slot, because it was the way the inventory system was initially designed was admittedly a bit short-sighted, because it basically assumed, and I mean not necessarily incorrectly, that all of the slots should be treated as roughly, equal. For one thing, it made it easy to reuse them across the board. And so what that functionally means is, like, if we were to open the inventory as an example, this is a slot, but it is technically, as far as the code's concerned, not really any different than the slots in our inventory, like in here. And the same is true as this. Now they're defined as different kinds. Oh, we do have an ad break going on. So we'll put that off until after the ad break. My site automation still isn't working. I did some updates to the site, and it seems to have somewhat broken my bot. Part of it works, but the other part does not. And I'm not sure where the issue is just yet. It was broken during the last stream, or last like 2 streams. And I haven't had time to work on it. Okay, we should be back from the ad break. So, yeah, so the issue was we kind of, I say we, royal we, the collective we, I kind of created these slots equally. So, like, this section of slots is defined as temporary storage, and this is defined as, like, main inventory, and these are defined as equipment. But other than that, they are effectively the same slot, same kind of slot, like internally. And what I had sort of decided was, because by default, the way the equipment system technically works. I don't think it's broken currently. I guess we'll find out. Okay, that was weird. Is it gonna be mad at me? This is how we find out what state I left this in. So, functionally, I can tell I left it in the state where the ammo doesn't properly. The idea was you equip something, right? It was kind of two-stage because you can equip things, but then if you've equipped something, it removes it from the shortcuts, and that's kind of a problem because that's not really what you expect. If I equip something and then unequip it, you would expect it would still be in the shortcuts. That's how most games that have a shortcut system works. It doesn't take it out of the shortcut unless you actively use and consume the item. So that's the problem, is the shortcut slots are just more slots. So technically speaking, the way the system's designed from the ground up, the item could only exist in one slot at a time, basically. And that was a problem. And I tried to set up a way to create, specifically around the equipment slots, to create something that I was considering like a ghost item, in that when you equip something, well, there is still a bug. Oh, that goes away when you do that, apparently. When you equip something, you would have it in your equipment slots over here, but it would still be represented in your inventory. The idea being that this over here was not something you would drag around. It was more just showing you what was equipped as like a visual indicator. Now, that could be accomplished by putting little equip icons or something on the inventory items and then be done with it, which may be the route that I take. Because internally I do have an entirely different set of slots that actually tracks this stuff. Because I can put this on the shortcut and equip it, hit the shortcut, and it does in fact get equipped. It doesn't get represented in these slots as it being equipped, but it is in fact equipped. So that I can define. My issue was that if you equipped something, i.e. by putting it over here, and it was represented in these slots and taken out of the inventory, which is what it does, you ran into an issue that I foresaw, not that has happened, but you would run into an issue where if the player filled up their inventory and decided to switch weapons, and let's say the weapon they were switching to was larger, took up more slots, or switching from, rather, took up more slots than the weapon they were switching to, they would be unable to do the switch. So that was a restriction that is not really ideal. I do want them to have to carry the items around, but don't want them to be in a situation where they can't equip and unequip something because they've picked up other stuff. That's a little too restrictive in my mind. So I was like, okay, well, what if we don't remove the item from the slot and we just have it represented over here? So I tried to do this whole ghost item thing, which looks like some of the code for that is still left over, because I did some of it at a C++ level. I had to actually make fundamental changes to the source code to kind of put that as something that could happen. The problem was it wasn't really working. It was doing basically what you saw there, which is it kind of creates ghosts. So I didn't really want to proceed with that method, and so what I may what I may do is just indicate equipment based on what is on these guys. Because technically speaking, if you're dealing with these guys as equipment, I don't know if it'll show up in here or not. This is not necessarily reliable because it's talking about that it sees the item in that shortcut slot. But I had at one point, I was echoing out a log showing what was equipped. And it looks like I might have gotten rid of that. Yeah, looks like I might have gotten rid of that. But effectively there is like an internal series of slots that are different that actually hold what can be equipped. And so I could track that and just indicate equipment based on some kind of iconography or change to the items in the inventory slots, which would then not affect shortcut slots. I just have to make sure that using something in a shortcut slot is what like brings it out. And then the moving around of items in your inventory would not be affected. So that's sort of what I was working on last. But I don't really know where I left off. I knew part of what I was doing was trying to make sure that all of the components were properly referencing, because that had been one issue I was having. I think I was working in the gameplay function library, actually, because I was trying to center more of the logic around that. Yeah, so what I think I was trying to do here was kind of two states. Where pickups? Just in a weapon system. Yeah, so I specifically wanted to make an adjustment. So right now we have, and part of it was making sure that this was going to work correctly. Right now you have your ammo functions, and they pull information from the weapon component. But the thing is that they just pull this value, and what we really kind of need to do is, because this is getting current, but that assumes that value is always the same based on this, or that's always correct, when in this case we probably need to check for like the context of a specific weapon, is my line of thinking. So I'm sort of thinking that the option might be, because like if you go into, we can close that guy for now. Go into one of these. Well, that's just gonna take me there. But if I find by name, And this will probably take a minute. Could you? There you go. Okay, so the unfortunate part is it's been used in a number of places, but yeah, so that's our interface. Weapon base is the first time it's used, but it's just used to calculate the amp based on the ammo variable. But the thing is, that variable is, well, this is our weapon base. So this is our item, which is in that case is technically fine. It being used there, but that only works if that's what we're calling it from, and right now we're calling it from the inventory, which would be more representative of this guy, which is the base component, so it doesn't have anything set up. So really we should probably be looking in here, which right now is pulling I think this guy is a C++ code reference. Let me see. Is this guy defined? Looks like it's in our base component. Yeah, which is just getting that variable. So, what I think needs to happen is we need to have this be contextual. If you're getting, well, the way might be, I'm trying to think. I feel like a better way of doing this, but I have a feeling, I think I tried to do this and it kept crashing because changing this literally requires so many things to get adjusted. But we'll see. I want to make weapon. Where's weapon base? Yes. Let's see, does this cause craziness? I think it's going to. Shockingly, no. It will cause me to have to recompile a bunch of stuff, but that's fine. Okay, so I do have to figure out what to do in this particular case, because if you were calling it off of the current weapon, I guess in this case we wouldn't care, but we could do something like this and say that. And we could at least put a warning. And say this is BB item weapon base. And we'd say something like, item reference doesn't match past or doesn't match past reference. And then because we don't want it to like completely fill, and if we're calling it on this, we probably want a result. Pass that around. Fresh notes. What are you mad about? Refresh notes. Self. Cool. And then the way these would need to work then, if it gets called on the component, is two-stage. Close a bunch of these extra guys here. Now these are in the base component, so we should care about them more here. Ah, shit. Nope. Could you go back on the frickin' thing? Right, why? Why? There we go. Okay. So get weapon ID, which should be fine. Get ammo clip current. Then what we actually need to do is create something to like calculate the ammo clip current. So I would say that would be done here, and it would need to have a weapon. Okay, and then what are you mad about? Okay, this is the parent. So why are you mad? Cannot override, which was declared an apparent with a different signature. I mean, for what it's worth, I could literally do weapon. Okay. could just literally delete this, and then override them again. Because we had not done anything with them. Yeah. Okay, so what we need it to do is it needs to calculate I didn't even mean to call that weapon interface. Oops. That's supposed to be weapon reference? Did I cock that up? I guess I did. Alright, well, we're gonna have to do that, and then refresh. Refresh. All right, it doesn't. Refresh. It doesn't seem to care. Oh, wait a minute. I only changed it on one of them. Didn't I? Okay. And this one actually seems a little more important to me because right now I have this set to pull the maxed stack, which based on that design is only really like the total amount of ammo you can have, not the actual amount. Meaning we need to calculate that. So we have to do a couple things. One is get our inventory component. Not set. Although I guess I would have to do this. And then we'd say need the ammo class. Which also needs to be a validated get. Because we don't need to be trying to look up anything invalid. And then get... What is it? Get amount? Item... I have a thing in here. I forget what the hell I named it. It's like get... You get how many of a specific item class is in the inventory. It's like... Not find all items in slots. Get number of items, I believe, is what it wants. I think it's this one. Yeah. I did this. And then we can say branch. We don't want it to, there shouldn't be negative, but basically that's what we're ensuring there. And then we'll return that. That should calculate, because we're not looking for clip, we're looking for how much ammo is available in the inventory, which would be this, as long as these are all valid. So I guess in that case we would say this is current ammo, not even clip ammo, so I gotta update that appropriately. Okay, that at least make sure that we return something. And got to have another ad break. Let's see. This one, oh, this one is actually probably fine because we're not needing to calculate anything. That information should be correct. It's on the item. It's just checking that, like what's in the clip. So that should be correct. Because I think that's, yeah, that's just what I'm treating as the ammo clip in this case. So that should be fine. And we'll have to do something similar here. But we want to do it when it talks to the inventory component. We want to do it for the currently equipped weapon. So we'll either do the weapon that's currently equipped or the weapon that's passed, and we'll have to like do a comparison. Okay, we should be coming back from ads. Yeah, so if it's past here, then we want to do two things. We want to say is valid, first of all. So was this passed? And this is current ammo, whereas that's the clip ammo. So this is the one where we want to calculate rather than check the clip. If it's not valid, right, then we're going to go off, let's see, equipped. I think it's this guy, but at the same time, I'm not confident, because technically speaking, where the heck do you get defined at? Yeah, think you're fine. Let's see. Well, first of all, oh yeah, that pulls in a weapon actor, which is not gonna be valid in that case. Equipment slots? Or is it get? Equipment. Hang on. Oh, you know. Oh, how did I triggered the freaking language thing. There's like a keyboard shortcut for that is awful, and I wish it would go away. UE5 language shortcut. Control B, right? Oh. What is the language shortcut? Use set culture. No. I don't want it in Japanese. I can't. What is the language shortcut? I don't know how. Because I can't read the menu to get to it that way. Change language shortcut. I never remember what this is, and I always manage to accidentally. Oh, I can just do this. There we go. I fixed it. There needs to be a way to, like, turn off that shortcut, which there might be, but I'm unclear on what it is. I'm also going to make sure that I have both of those set so that it's not double broken for some reason. All right. So yeah, so what we want to do, we got to get the inventory component. That's what it was, because that's get inventory component. This should be fine. And oop. Honestly, if this is I would say if a weapon reference is passed here, then probably what we should just do is run this on the weapon. Like, because if one's being passed, then that's what it's looking for, generally, I would say. And then if we're looking for, if one's not passed, then we're probably looking for the currently equipped one. So we need that, and then we can say get, it's like from slots. Find item and equipment slots. And then as long as this does not equal, oops, -1, then it should be found. And if that's the case, then we can say I would just do this, probably. Oh, wait, you know what? That doesn't work in those cases. Because if it's down here, that's invalid. So instead, what we need to say is we need to get the equipment slots. And we need to find an item. In this case, we want to find, or should be like, is it get reference to one. And then break. A not Boolean. So if it's not empty, then we want cast to and then if once it gets to that point, it should technically be able to run this. Um, I do need to add some form of logging into these. So that we know where this falls apart. Not in here. We'll just copy this guy and then modify him. So this is going to be a comp weapon am I doing this in the base component? Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I'll copy this in a second. We're going to treat that more as a warning than anything else in this case, because we're still going to be proceeding. I don't know why I'm compiling, because I'm about to move this thing. We don't want to set this stuff up in the base component. In the master component. I don't even know how that freaking happened. Get current ammo, get weapon, get current ammo. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all accounted for, so that's fine. And then... Oop. Okay, now we do this, and then say this one. Cool. think this guy gets called already, so we can probably test this. Because this is one of the parts that I'm thinking wasn't working right earlier. Like, I discovered there was a bug with it. I can't remember if I fixed the bug. So all right. Well, it didn't call that at all yet. And I'm still firing ammo. Okay. That's interesting. Item. Doesn't match past reference. So it was making the calls on this guy, but then saying that the item didn't match past reference. That's interesting. Why would that be? Well, that I'm curious to see. Unknown. Okay, well, usually you have to move ahead one. Still unknown. What triggers that? I mean, you guys are technically the same thing. Cast to weapon base. That's probably what was throwing off that message. Pistol C. Okay, well, it hasn't found itself yet. Okay, and then that matched. It says no debug data, but its reading is true, so that's fine. 6. Alright, cool. And then get current ammo. True. Valid. Cool. Valid. Cool. Number of items is greater than 0. It hasn't actually calculated it yet, I don't think. Greater than or equal to 0. Which actually is, that's true, so that's fine. Because that's just our protection against negative numbers. Okay. Boop. And then this is still an item base. Oh yeah, because it like, gets fired multiple times, which is a problem in and of itself. But something I can deal with. Okay, I am curious to see if it calculates all of this properly. $16. Turns current ammo. Which, technically speaking, I already had this going on. So... Oh, well. Yeah, it's going to read that out either way. Yeah. Can we move along with this? We know that that's all valid. Hold on. Did something you're not supposed to do. It used... I mean... It kind of was supposed to do it. It's supposed to add the ammo. But it seems to have, somewhere in that mess, subtracted what was already there. And then just straight up replaced it with what was in the pickup. Because the pickup was 12, I believe. How much is in the pickup? No, the pickup's 16. Well, that doesn't even make sense. How did you get 12 out of that? Oh. I understand what it did. I have it capped at 12 per clip. So it used the full stack of ammo to fill the clip, but consumed all the excess. That's what it did. Okay. Well, it technically is doing what it's told then. Alright, so there's going to be some stuff that has to be looked into on that front. Okay. So then what we want to do we're gonna have to have something very similar to a point that I'm probably going to copy this. Pull it over here because we can do something almost identical. Current clip ammo, invalid weapon reference, that's fine. That part's fine. Basically, everything up to there is going to be fine, but we don't have to care about the ammo type. In this case, we're just going to care about getting this far with it. And then we can just kind of do this number when in doubt. It should be this. Okay. So it doesn't seem like we're calling the one via the inventory at all presently. We're just calling it through here, which is kind of expected. So get current clip ammo. We should be able to expect that if we use this guy, it's just going to pull the current weapon. That should be fine. Let's see. So that means whenever we pick up the weapon, let's see if we can figure out where the shenanigans are happening. Okay. That's the basics. Okay, that's all fine. We have an ad break in like 5 minutes. What do we do? Select int. Something like that. So that it should be fine on that front. I am curious where the math is coming into play. That let me get rid of this stuff. That is causing the ammo to get consumed like that. All right. Oop, oop. And then true. Left amount is 6. As clip ammo, yeah, that checks out. Okay, that all seems to check out. Oh, that's a 4 each loop. I'm not 100% sure why this gets called so many times. Okay, there's 16 there now. Cool. Reload? Reload doesn't trigger it, but perhaps changing the shortcuts does. 6. $16. Alright, ammo. 16. Nice clip ammo. 16. Doop, doop, doop. There's ammo. Yes. Nice clip ammo. It's our character. Yeah. 16. Well, this is the for each loop that I'm gonna have to go through here. Refresh. This is a refresh of the shortcut to the visuals, which is probably where the double calls are happening. Okay. Alright. We should be back from the ad break. Okay. Yeah, so this is probably the refresh function here is probably what's causing things to get called multiple times. Empty false, yeah, that's just logging information. Get item to equip. Get current clip ammo. How? So at some point, I wish it let me step backward. At some point, between those, it got told to refill or to like fill the ammo. How? What? When did you change? Alright, stop. And okay. I don't even freaking know. Because this just gets current values. So, like... what? Something must be calculating it. Which I don't approve of. Oh, this is 100% going to be like a C++ definition. Oh, no, not Visual Studio. I'm not seeing where that gets set anywhere. Oh dear. Visual Studio making beeping noises at me. Why won't you just open Writer? You know, the software that I actually use. So. Can I find... Oh, of course you are. Could you not? Set ammo. Well, that's initializing a pickup. Update ammo and weapon. Set ammo. Okay. We're going to toggle a breakpoint because this is almost assuredly what is happening. Boop. Alright, well, I don't even have a weapon equipped, so that can stop. Yeah, we don't care about that one. Don't care about that one. This is what we're after. Okay, well, again, it is getting called, but it doesn't matter right now because we haven't picked up any additional ammo yet. Cool. Ammo. Alright. Cool. Current clip ammo. Current ammo. Current clip ammo. Update ammo and weapon. Alright. So this is where things are probably going weird. Get It's our equipped item, which is valid, so it proceeds. Excuse you? No, go back. I'm gonna have to toggle the freaking breakpoint on all of this in order to It's already gotten to that point. Ah. What? Alright, stop. Set clip ammo. Update ammo in weapon. Could you go away? Okay, let's find out when this is happening. Yeah, I literally do not care about those. Oop. Right. We're good. We're still good here, because we haven't picked up any ammo yet. Yes, okay. I'm seeing the error of my ways. I see that is clearly too many. It's looping, but that's fine. All right. Force an update. Okay. Good with that guy. Good with that guy. That guy. Here's where we start to have shenanigans. Update ammo in inventory. 0. Set clip ammo. Remove old ammo. Add new ammo. What? I mean, I remember setting this up. Six. Everything's zeroed out at the moment? Why is everything zeroed out? Okay, so that's reading as 6, which would be ammo and weapon. Update HUD. That gets the ammo clip max. Max is 12. Oh. Okay. Okay, so at this point, this is actually correct. This should be updating to 10. Set current ammo. Update ammo in inventory. Huh. Where's the update ammo and inventory component? Was it in here? I mean, in here. I suppose it's arguable if I even wanted to do this, because that would imply thinking about it, and if you were to do this every time you changed weapons, you would effectively make it where if someone was out of ammo, player was out of ammo, they could get a rapid reload by just switching weapons. You don't want. But this was being used for a reason. What if I bypass those and just go straight to the ammo counter update, because that was part of what it was making sure that, yeah, I know those won't execute. Was making sure that the amount of ammo stayed up to date in the UI. Yeah. Yeah. Can we continue, please? Okay. Well, that part is fine. And that part gets updated. I've still broken reload at some point for some reason, which is fine. So then... boop. Can we just... It actually is still setting current ammo. But I did just pick... No, I switched weapons. That's kind of weird. It seemed like it might have still been trying to set ammo. It didn't, but it sure seemed like it was trying. It did result in my firing of the weapon did result in it getting reset somehow. So that's interesting. There is some shenanigans going on here. This is... Okay. And then in the inventory... This is probably what's responsible for the subtraction being wrong. I've got so many other brake toggles turned on though. It'd be a nightmare to get to it. Yeah, we just freaking got a weapon. Could you? Right. Where? Could we get out of the loop, please? Hmm. Yeah, okay. So it would be great to know where you got called from. Hmm. That only triggers its parent. It's got to be this guy. Like, I don't really know, based on that, why we would need to do this part. Because... let's see. I'm going to remove most of these breakpoints so that I can... because I kind of know where things are happening now. And I don't need this to literally be breaking every 5 seconds. Hmm. Date ammo and weapon by 12. Yeah, so I'd still like to know who the hell... like, it was clearly triggered by this, but like, why? Maybe... maybe something about when I'm triggering the shortcut? It'd be nice to know what's specifically triggering that. Because, not that it's not a problem, like, there's kind of two different issues here, but yeah, I don't think we want it reloading when they choose a selection. Hey, Magic. I see the check-in. What? How am I doing? I am doing pretty well. I've been very busy lately. And now I'm trying to fix some problems I created, slash kind of retroactively change some things. Unfortunately, especially after I was stepped away from this for about a week and a half, it's somewhat akin to being the detective in a murder mystery where you are also the murderer. So why would it even be? I mean, there is a reload function. But why would reload? Changing your weapon should not trigger a reload. We don't want that. That's got to be something triggered by the shortcut? Maybe? A little bit of a nightmare, yeah. I'm trying... So, there's sort of a two-stage issue happening here. The first... toggle that off. There's another one in there somewhere that's going to break, but that's fine. The first is that... So right now everything's represented correctly. We got 16 bullets in here, 6 in the chamber. We don't really... My reload function's broken, so technically speaking, there is no reloading right now. But it's kind of a two-stage problem, because the first is that if I change what I have equipped with the shortcut... Oops. I knew there were going to be a couple more in here. That was me trying to track things down here. Toggle these off. Suddenly, the gun is reloaded, which has its problems, but it's also reloaded wrong. It fills it up to what I have set as the max of the clip, but then it gets rid of the rest of the ammo. So it should have maxed out as 12. There should be 10 left here, and there are not. But the larger issue is, I say larger issue, that is technically the larger issue, but the other issue that it kind of came to realize when I was flipping through this is because it's being triggered specifically by the shortcut keys. That means theoretically, if you were to have multiple weapons and trigger them on your shortcuts, you would just get an instant reload every time. Now, granted, the math would be wrong. You'd have the wrong number of bullets, but you would effectively be getting an instant reload every time you switched weapons. So that's not good. We're about to have an ad break. We don't want an instant reload every time we switch weapons. So that in itself is a problem. Alright. Is it in here where I did the selection, the shortcut selections? No. Your break is finished? No, you want to watch more? Would you have me pulled up on like a lunch break or something? There's the ad break. Music was getting staticky. Had to restart the sound thingy. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Back from the ad break. I'm sorry to hear that you were on your last lunch break. These are the shortcut actions. And this is when they're triggered. So when they're triggered, call on shortcut selected. Valid inventory component. Is there anything happening in here where server select shortcut? I mean, possibly. Call on shortcut selected. Yeah. Could be a thing. I will say, I need to... This would be... I don't care about all keys. I want to know which key triggered it. Is it active contact set? Maybe? Query keys. We want to know what was actually used. I'll have to figure that out later because I want to know. I want to confirm if it's a gamepad key or not. But we have to know what key was pressed, and then that'll be a little trickier. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So once the shortcut is selected, probably this. Inventory sound, set slot selected, shortcut widget, no. Item by widget, get item by widget, shortcut item, no. What is this? On shortcut item amount changed. Which, I guess technically, this could be relevant. But also not, it's just for the UI. Yeah, we're not doing any math here. So it's specifically this guy. When it's selected, there's like 100% chance that that is a C++ situation. It's either going to be that guy or something that's called by this. And I apparently can't call that anywhere else. What if I do this? Okay. If I... Interesting. So it's only... Yeah, it's not even like one of the valid ones. Like it's not used. I guess it's gotta be C++ code. Select shortcut. Select shortcut, broadcast. These are just broadcasts, though. Check storage slots. Interesting. I mean, it could be in here. There's definitely got to be something in here that's triggering a reload of the weapon. That's loading inventory from save, which in that case doesn't matter. But I find it weird. Because in this case, this doesn't do much. Crap. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is interesting. It seems like maybe it's in the source code somewhere, but that could take a while to find. Interesting. Well, I need to wrap things up. It's a little earlier than I would normally like to, but I've still been quite busy and quite exhausted, so I'm gonna try to get some sleep a little earlier than usual tonight. And as such, who is that? Let's see. thought it was saying that starting was live, but I don't see any sign of starting. Let's give... We'll give Mortimer a raid. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, I will try to be live again on Thursday. And hopefully I'll have figured this out by then. So, everybody have a good night.